Now, the theme for tonight is garden enchantment. And since Oakland was created to be a lush oasis in the hustle and bustle of the city, well, you can imagine my excitement to host. Where are my manners? My name is Mrs. Birdie Gaither. I was born in 1883 in South Carolina. I attended Atlanta University, where I majored in social work, and then I received my master's from the Atlanta School of Social Work. That is the same program, by the way, that is still at Clark Atlanta University today. Later, I met Marion Gaither, and we were married. Now, Marion got a job with the Postal Service. That was the job that solidified our status as a middle-class black family. A federal job paid far better than anything else that was available to black people in the South in those days. We bought a house on 140 Howell Street in the 4th Ward near Auburn Avenue. We filled that house with children and later grandchildren. Marion and I lived a really good life together until his death when he was 48, when I was only 45. What was a young widow to do, you ask? Oh, I wanted to be matched again. I had a whole campaign about Birdie needs a beau. But I made hosting my life, and I became the best society hostess you ever saw. Now, as you move into the dining room, you'll be seated at your name card. There are maybe 30 people here, so you'll need to know where to be seated. There will be a hostess at each table from one of my social clubs, such as the Utopian Literary Club, someone to keep the conversation flowing. Oh, to be invited to one of my parties was to be in society. I would host multiple course meals for entire boards and auxiliaries at my home. In fact, Chief Aiken and his wife, well, they visited my home several times. And the Rucker family and mine, well, we knew each other from church. You may think this all sounds frivolous, but women, hostesses, were the backbone of the civil rights movement. We moved it forward. You know what was the most daunting challenge of organizing large-scale protests? Food! Behind the scenes, women worked tirelessly to feed the masses, packaging meals and organizing distributions. Now, talk will feed the soul, but it doesn't feed the body, and there were plenty of them. I hosted the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and all the civil rights leaders, including the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Andrew Young, Jesse Jackson, Fannie Lou Hamer, John Lewis, Ruby Doris Smith, and many, many more. You know, when segregation limited our public options, private homes became salons for talk of rights and freedom. That crowd didn't always end up at Pascal's, you know, although I did let them cater. No, I let those young men and women that paved the way forward know that they would always, always find refuge in my home. And when I passed away in 1963, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Sr. officiated my service. My concrete plaster headstone, well, that's a sign that by one of the black-owned mortuaries in town. Now, black mortuary businesses were born of segregation, but they're now a vibrant part of our city's heritage and economy. And my concrete marker, well, that's special too. They're not too common anymore, and each one is unique to the mortuary that handled the burial. If you ever get a chance to see mine, you'll see it says Murdaugh Brothers Morticians. Now, my grave marker was part of the hardscape restoration of this section, the historic black burial ground. That, by the way, is the purpose of tonight's gathering, in case it comes up, to raise funds to making this section a rich garden, a garden of enchantment. Each table will have a little basket that's expertly a part of the centerpiece, set out conveniently for you to drop your bills, even your coins. There's something with a telephone I don't understand. But don't be shy now. This is all for a good cause. And it lets these good folks here at Oakland finish gardening this special, special place. Well, thank you for being my guest this evening, and I do hope you enjoy yourself now. Thank you so much.